what is Divine Bamboo in a nutshell?
Okay. So Divine Bamboo is an innovative forestry and energy company. It's a Ugandan company. And our mission is to stop deforestation in Uganda. We do that through the promotion of bamboo as a sustainable alternative to cutting down traditional hardwoods. So that was my motivation really, because Uganda is losing so much tree cover. We are losing so much forest because mainly of the need to cook. So because of fuel wood in the form of charcoal and firewood, a lot of people don't have a choice but to go to the forest and cut down trees. Yeah. And so we wanted to provide an alternative to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you started to provide an alternative to this, how has this been received by the people that you're talking to?
So of course, with any new innovation, it's not straightforward. Yeah. You don't get the idea today and then the idea is mature. Yeah. First of all, the idea, the business model takes time to develop. Yeah. And in the same way, the audience, the customers also need time to adapt to the new products and like the new plant in this case. So it's a gradual process, but I would say that we are seeing very positive change.
Okay. Welcome to the program. My name is Eddie Okela and this is the CEO Bench on this particular morning, afternoon, evening, depending on which part of the world you're actually watching the program from. We would like to take this moment to say welcome to the program. Today we are flying all the way to Nigeria. Oga is in the studio and we are going to be talking about things that are about food, cross-cultural learning for peace building, using food, law, order, everything that is needed in there. Of course, the CEO Bench is live on House of Talent Television. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Join me in welcoming Miss Linda T. Bott, all the way from Nigeria in Kampala, the Bight of Benin. Linda, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Love your welcome.
Learning from the gurus of things. You Nigerians are the 200 million people.
And counting.
Yes, and counting. And if you find a one Linda is also there, and she's also hard, you know that she has been working hard.
Well, we have to. They're 200. You have to step out, else hunger will kill you.
Yes,
but thank you. Love to be here.
Thank you so much, Linda, and welcome to the program. So to start with, Linda, we want to know you a little bit more from the ancestral point of view. Who is Linda T. Bott, and what does the word T stands for? Bott is like a German name, not a Nigerian African name. What's up? What's going on around you? Who are you? What are you? What are the values that define you as a person?
Okay, so Linda T. Bott is a Nigerian lawyer. I'm here with my family. I call them, I'm the cheerleader of the Bott clan of 4 children. My husband is also a lawyer, but he doesn't practice. He works in the development sector. T actually stands for, it's Tersan, with the emphasis on the R, and it literally means to move your body. And I think my grandmother predicted that because she was the one that named me. So I found myself moving my body from place to place.
Yes, to different places, yes. All right, we want to just go straight to, in Nigeria, how do you people, describe yourself?
Wow, that's a tall order. We're 200 million people, remember. Yes. We're resilient. I know it's been an abused word, but we are resilient. We're hungry, hungry to do stuff. We're very friendly. We're very outgoing. We take chances. We seize opportunities. We're very forthwith. I think some people don't like that. Some people see that as being brash. Yeah. But for the average Nigerian, and I'd say it cuts across West Africans, what you see is what you get. We'll tell you upfront what we feel. We take you. Literally, we adopt you and your entire family, whoever is your other person. Yeah. You offend us, we tell you, and then we move on. Okay. Yeah.
And the other thing that we want to know very much from you, what is like the African roots of Linda T. Bight from Nigeria, from that wider perspective?
So I'm from Plateau State. It's one of the states in the middle belt of Nigeria. We're part of the food basket. Kampala actually reminds me of my home capital, which is Jos. It's not hilly like Kampala, so you can't build on the slopes, but it's rocky. The weather is sort of similar, but we get less rain. It's drier. We have our own version of winter, if you will. So from October up to February, we have the Harmattan winds, common similar foods and everything. We grow quite a lot. So I'm from Plateau State, half Mernyang, half Ankwe. I speak Hausa, but like I mentioned, Hausa is a trading language across sub-Saharan Africa. So it's a commercial language for most of us from the Middle Belt and from the north. I'm not Yoruba or Igbo or Hausa, because I know that's next you'll ask.
That's the only people we know in
yeah.
Nigeria. You're either Yoruba, you're either Ebukland, you know.
Igbo
we don't know
Hausa.
you guys. You guys are not,
well,
you don't exist.
We do exist, thank you very much.
These guys take everything from Nigeria. We only know for
No, I think because it is one of the official languages. So I think people know that, well, I wouldn't say official language, it was one of the major tribes. So Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, then you have a lot of the minorities. Mine is one of the minorities. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking to Linda T. Bight. You coming to the CEO bench. Please get your seat ready and sit back, relax for a great ride with Linda. And today we are talking about, change management, leadership and transformation. What do you do from a leadership perspective? And we're going to dive into this interview very quickly with Linda. Linda is the founder and the co-founder and the CEO of Bight of Benin, a Ugandan, Nigerian restaurant based in Kampala, or a West African restaurant based in Kampala, the capital of Uganda. And of course, serving the greater, wider perspective of the West African dishes in Kampala. Linda, let's start the program from a very lighter note of what is your understanding of leadership?
Leadership for me means you're being able to immerse yourself and get your team, not staff. I've learned that's a very different, they're both different terms, and I'll tell you why. When you immerse yourself as a leader, you're willing to sort of get in the trench with your team and get them to buy the vision behind the structure you've set up or the business you've set up. Yeah. I think then you've achieved, or you are on your way to achieving what it is you want to do with the type of business you have. The reason why I said there's a difference between staff and team is your staff is a body there, do this, do that, and they'll just follow and clock out. Okay. But your team will understand the vision and actually run with it. Perhaps even run with it better than you yourself envisioned. Okay. Yeah.
And Linda, on that note, are you a leader? Do you consider yourself a leader?
I think I'm learning how to, and I'll say I'm working on my impatience. I've been giving feedback about my impatience and that, and impatience in the sense that I know what it is I want. Perhaps we've all discussed it, and if it doesn't happen within Linda's 2 minutes, then I sort of take it away from you and try to do it myself. So I'm trying to pace myself and understand or allow others to move forward and do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then so let's talk about self-leadership for that matter. I mean, ability of a human being to appoint self, to give self meaning and to move is what we call self-leadership. Do you think that from a very early childhood you have been leading self? And if yes, how?
Interesting. How would I put that? I've always been one of the smallest physical size across school for me, and even within my family. Yeah. So I've always sort of pushed my head out, like, oh, you must see me, I'm here, I'm trying to do stuff, right?
Just like with all the little people, the short people, they're always struggling to be noticed.
Well, let me put it, I'm not short, I'm aspiring, and I hear fresh Ugandan beans also helps with the height issue, so I'm chowing down on that.
Yes. You miss the rain of growing taller in Africa.
No.
Yes,
You see, it's a season, so
Okay.
I think my season is coming. I haven't given up.
Yes. But go back to it, yes.
Yeah. So I think in lots of ways, I think growing up, watching various family members or other people in the spheres where they worked in, I think has helped me to do that, to become self-aware in being a leader.
Okay.
But like I say, it's a learning process for everybody, and I think it's something that one always has to sort of tweak, and because if you stop doing that, then I think you lose track of being a leader there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to sort of pick it from there, what is self-leadership to Linda as a person?
It's being able to move myself from my comfort zone, right? And decide, okay, or perhaps put myself in a situation where I can see myself, at the risk of repeating it, is, so I'm in a comfort zone, but then decide, okay, if this is where I want to be, or this new area I want to move into, right? What do I need to learn as a person, right? To lead myself into that spot and be able to lead or allow others to lead me on that. I think that is how I would describe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you been leading yourself?
Sometimes, not always successful.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's also part of learning.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's part of learning.
Okay. I want to just take you straight to my next question, Linda, which is a question that people usually don't find it easy, when we're talking about leadership. They always struggle to answer it. And leadership has different dimensions. There's a leadership approach that we often look into quite very eminently when we are leading as leaders. And we want to believe that you're a leader because you picked yourself from, your village where you are, and then you went through school like everybody else does. But then you found yourself in Congo, in Turi, in Ghana, and then in where?
Here now.
In Togo? Togo where?
No, here now.
And now in Uganda.
Yeah.
All of this is about leadership. You won't be able to do this if you're not using leadership to say, I need to give myself meaning, I need to do this, I need to move this, I need to move this. There are many things that you have gone through in that process. And we just want to know from you, what is that one type of leadership that you use quite a bit to make decisions as a person, as Linda, going forward?
In which aspect?
In your journey, every journey, from as a lawyer. First of all, you're a lawyer, which we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
And then we'll get to that point when you talk about you being in food business. Those are completely two different places. But I want to talk about leadership. There's a transform. Leadership has 5, types that are commonly used, and maybe perhaps I'll break it down to you, and then you'll pick which one. You tell us which one you use.
I hope I can fit into one box.
Yes. So there's laissez-faire type of leadership. Laissez-faire, things are done, as the word sounds, you already know it as a French speaker. And there is what we call democratic leader or leadership approach. It's a type of leadership that most people use, but there is also what we call autocratic leadership approach, which is often described as the much leadership approach used in Africa, as a continent at the moment. Then we have what we call a transformative leader or transformative leadership approach, which looks at transforming things at all time, every time, that leader is always doing something around that space. And then the 5th one is what we call a servant leader. We also know those who
it's an abused term in Africa.
Abused term in Africa, like you said. Which of these 5 do you use most? In fact, if at all, we want you to pick 3.
That's very interesting, and the reason why I say that is my daughter is currently doing a research to make a presentation on that, and we actually had this discussion last week, but she was looking at it from the perspective of world leaders. I think I'll say I have bits of it in me. Democratic, I try to, especially being in the food industry now, I've literally done almost like a 360 from my legal training to understand, okay, what you were legalizing there is not transferring here, right? Yes. So to be able to give my staff what do you call it, to give them the space to be able to say and discuss an idea that either they've brought or have brought, right? And then for them to actually say, okay, we have looked at your idea, these are the reasons why it will work or will not work, and we're moving ahead with that. Yeah. It's not often easy to do that. Yeah. I think I have a bit of autocracy in me. I've gotten feedback from my kids, family. Because sometimes it's maybe the urgency of what needs to be decided, and you find whether or not your staff is with you, you just drag them and say, come along, and let's go do this, right? Laissez-faire, no, not at all.
Why?
Then if that's like, it's like letting loose a toddler. If you're going to, you understand, because your business needs structure and systems. If you're going to let it run free, then I don't think it's going to work in the final run. And even being autocratic, you have to learn to sort of ease back a bit and let people do what you've actually engaged them to be able to do. It's a human impatience factor, I think, and I have a lot of that in me. Servant leader, like I said, it's been abused a lot, so I won't even go there.
Why wouldn't you go there?
Because it's been abused. You know, I think it's just a phrase that people throw out, oh, I'm a servant leader. But when you ask, what exactly is a servant leader? It's hard for them to define it. And if you don't understand the definition, then you're just parroting what you think is in vogue. To go ahead with,
Okay, in about a minute or so, we're going to take a break. But I just want to ask you this question to sort of like wrap up the leadership discussion. Africa. And you've been
there are
across
54 countries.
Yes, there are 54 countries in Africa. And what is your understanding of leadership from the African perspective, from the leadership of a country, of a continent? What would you describe our leadership like as
our expectation or the reality?
Both. What are our expectation and what is the reality on the ground, and what would be your ideal, you know, sort of like the type of leadership we should have in the African continent, given your, you know, background as a person who has been able to move across the three continents at least?
I'd say being able to engage with citizens, I think, is just like engaging in a company, right? It's not rocket science. If you provide the structure, in this case, it would be governments provide like the regulatory framework, right? If you do provide that and provide an enabling environment, so you have power in place, the basics, right? Education, more importantly. Effective education. And when I say that, we've always had this argument of if you had critical thinking as being part of a curriculum in African countries, in African schools, right, it will be transformative, right? So the government provides the regulatory framework and then moves out of the way to enable the citizens to elect people who will actually represent them. So the moment that people know that I'm in this office representing these people that have put me there, I'm accountable to them. Not that I'm lording it over them, which unfortunately happens in a lot of the countries. Then I think we will have a good shot at having some form of leadership in Africa. Good transformative.
Okay, so that's your ideal of a leader.
That's the ideal.
And what do you think? You didn't talk about our expectations before, the expectation versus reality.
That's also part of the expectation. Reality, I think we should go for that.
We want to hear the reality of
the reality, unfortunately, and it's very sad, is Africa has one of the youngest population on the continent. Where's everybody going to fit in? And when I say fit in is, what will they do? Okay? Education, which is, I wouldn't call it a leveler, because I've met people who are not formally educated. My grandmother was not formally educated, but what she's done in her life is amazing, and we, the grandkids, we're still trying to catch up on that, right? So I wouldn't say education is a leveler. It depends on which sector you're going into. But my expectation is, I paid my taxes as a citizen. I expect the barest minimum. Make sure things are working in order. If I get involved in the election process, not as a candidate, but to vote you, the candidate, in, then your election promises that you discussed with us, I presume, should actually come into play. Not every 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, whatever term is, we regurgitate the same thing and expect to have something different as a result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've studied in Europe, which we're going to get into in a little bit. I mean, what was your understanding of leadership from the Italian, from European perspective when you studied there?
So I studied in
versus what we have in Africa.
In Turin. And you see that, okay, so this is it, right? Most of the systems work, transport and all that. I mean, it reached a point where I stopped getting the bus and the train pass because I just bought a bicycle and rode all over Turin, right? It worked. Yeah. The systems work, of course, everybody has their particular issues. But if you can't have, and you wonder, like, what is different that you can't have that work in an African setting, comes down to leadership. Because you will notice, and I'm sure probably most of the countries have the regulatory framework. Yeah. The problem is implementation, always is implementation. Okay. If we get that right, I think we'll have a good shot of doing something really amazing in Africa.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Linda. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us on this program. This is a CEO Bench. We're talking to Linda Bight, who is the co-founder of the Bight of Benin, the West African restaurant based in the center of Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. Visit that place and, have yourself some jollof rice that she keeps talking about, and the soup. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will talk to Linda a little bit about being a lawyer and crossing over to food on the change management part of the program. And of course, we'll close the program with the transformation. How does she cause transformation wherever she is in the world? Stay right there. I'll be right back after the break. What is leadership to you?
Well, leadership is, number one, walking the talk. I think there are too many people who talk the talk, but not enough people walk the talk. So you have to be a leader. Leadership has to be seen. It has to be felt. It's something you have to learn from. Leadership is being responsible for, your actions, your decisions, being able to back them up, being able to see other people's strengths, to bring out the best in your team, your family, your friends. That's leadership. You have to be able to identify people's unique talents, unique gifts, and bring out the best in them. To me, that's what I think of leadership.